Hey there, I'm Brad, and I'd like to welcome you to With Open Face, where we're going to discover Christ in the Old Testament and the New Testament together. It's that discovery of Him that will make us more like Him. Thanks for joining us today. Well, welcome back. I would like to continue in this idea of beholding Christ, beholding God and His glory. We are changed into that same image, and that's the whole gist or the whole theme of With Open Face. And so we're going to start a series here, a 3 to 4 part series of the idea of pride versus humility. And today, the main focus in this video is going to be the origin of pride. And a lot of times I think we focus on the Garden of Eden and that pride entered into the realm at that moment. But I think with some verses that we'll read today together, I think we'll see that pride began in heaven. And so let's jump in and take a look at this idea. So the first passage we're going to read is brief. It's in Isaiah 14, and in Isaiah 14, the prophet addresses someone known as the king of Babylon. But many scholars see behind this a glimpse into Satan's own prideful fall. So let me just read this passage to you. It's Isaiah 14:12 through 14. And I tend to call this the 5 I wills of Satan. So Isaiah 14:12 says, "How are you fallen from heaven, O day star, son of the dawn? How you are cut down to the ground, you who laid the nations low. You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven, above the stars of God. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly, in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds." And the last one, he says, "I will make myself like the Most High." And so, as I said, many scholars believe this is the moment Satan decided to go against God, and he was jealous. He wanted to be like the Most High, and that was his downfall. So, every one of these declarations by Satan, each one of them are upward facing. They ascend, they go above, they set themselves higher. He wants to sit on the mount. He wants to be like the Most High. So this is what pride is. It always reaches up, not bowing down to God and surrender, but going up, trying to compete with God. Now, there's a passage that I often put together in my mind with Isaiah 14, and it's easy to remember because it's Ezekiel 28. And so in my mind, I just say, okay, 14 plus 14 is 28. So it kind of helps me remember. But in Ezekiel 28, we also see that the prophet is addressing someone other than Satan. It's the king of Tyre. But the description quickly transcends human experience, pointing to a deeper spiritual reality. So, Ezekiel 28:12 through 17. Let me go ahead and start that. "Son of man, raise a lamentation over the king of Tyre and say to him, Thus says the Lord God, you were the signet of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering: sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, emerald, and carbuncle, and crafted in gold were your settings and your engravings. On the day that you were created, they were prepared. You were an anointed guardian cherub. I placed you. You were on the holy mountain of God. In the midst of the stones of fire, you walked. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till unrighteousness was found in you. In the abundance of your trade, you were filled with violence in your midst, and you sinned. So I cast you off as a profane thing from the mountain of God. And I destroyed you, O guardian cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Your heart was proud because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I cast you to the ground. I exposed you before kings to feast their eyes on you. So once again, we see pride seeks to ascend. True humility seeks to descend. Satan, or Lucifer, whatever we want to call him, the enemy, he saw his beauty. He was created by God in a beautiful state. He saw that, and he had aspirations to become like the Most High, and he fell. So what this brings us to is really, for me, what the starting point was, and that was a verse in the New Testament that made me think of this, and that is 1 John 2:16, and I'd like to read that as well. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And so that threefold declaration, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, those are the things that we're going to kind of investigate, kind of explore in this series. And so this particular video really focuses on the pride of life, and that's kind of what we see in Satan. What I'd like to end with is this: the spirit of pride started in heaven, but it didn't stay there. It made its way all the way down to earth. And that verse, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, that shows us the human version of Satan's fall, Satan's pride against God. It found its way into the garden, into the heart of Eve, and then Adam, and through them into us. So where we're headed in this series is it's going to be a study in contrast. So we're going to look at various stories and people in the Bible, some who sought to ascend, some who sought to grasp what they could get, and some who made it their ambition to descend. I think the best example of one who descended was the Son of God. He did not grasp upward, but he humbled himself, and he descended into our world, into a manger, and then eventually into death, and thank the Lord, into resurrection. So this is the ultimate contrast that we'll explore in our videos here. I'll just end with this one statement. Pride says, I will rise, but humility says, your will be done. Thank you.